This next kid has been an absolute blessing, even though, as you guys can probably all tell, we argue and fight a lot. But I love him like my own brother. I'm honored to present to you your State Vice President, Austin Jarrett.
Might have been the nicest thing she's ever said to me. Maybe the nicest thing she's ever said. Oh. You would say.
He tries to start ad-libbing these.
Oh my gosh. Okay. My name is Austin Jarrett, and I would first like to thank all of you for allowing me to serve this past year as your Indiana State Vice President. Tonight I would like to talk to you about leadership, specifically servant leadership. I am a Christian, and while this speech may have several references to my faith, I want to start off by saying that even if you don't hold the same beliefs that I do, we can all learn something from each faith tradition. So I ask you to keep an open mind. Obviously, you are all familiar with service to others, or none of you would be here. Beta's motto is, let us lead by serving others. You are all leaders within your schools, and by your being here, we already know that you are excellent students of very high integrity. I am sure that many of you are familiar with the parable of the talents found in the Bible. If you're not very familiar with it, you're about to get the Austin Jarrett version. So I suggest you check out the real deal in Matthew and Luke. But with apologies to everybody, this is my take on it. So there's this dude, okay? And he's this master, he's got 3 servants. He's leaving town to go do who knows what, probably on vacation or something. And the servants need to take care of business for him while he's gone. He gave them each some talents. Now, you can insert whatever kind of talent you want right here. In the Bible, however, a talent is a monetary amount. But for our purposes, talent can be whatever you want it to be. It can be singing ability, athletic ability, and understanding of math and science. You pick whatever you have been gifted with and hold that thought. Now, so this master gave each of them a different amount of talents. He gave the first one 5, the second one 2, and the last one he gave 1. He then took off and left them. In the meantime, each one did very different things with their talents. The first guy, I like to think of as Donald Trump of the group. He went out and invested and hit it hard. He bought fields and vineyards, and by the time his master got back, he had doubled his money. The second guy was a little more conservative, but he still went out and put his talents to work. The last guy, however, was very afraid. He knew his master was a real tough guy. So he didn't want to risk losing all his talent, so he took it and buried it in the backyard. Now, to make a long story short, the master came back and demanded an accounting. Well done, good and faithful servant, is what he said to the first 2. But the last one that played it safe, he said, you are a wicked servant, and took the talent he had away from them. What I take from this story is that our talents are just like muscles. You either use it or you lose it. My point in sharing this parable is that everyone in here has amazing talents, and you have been blessed with amazing opportunities just because you live in the United States. Now, I want to ask this question. Are you using those talents for the service of others? I don't think anyone would really consider me an Einstein, but I know how to work Google and I know how to pull up quotes on the internet. Albert Einstein once said that only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. I want my life to be worthwhile. Now, we are all busy, and I know that for sure because we're in high school. We're always doing something. But there's always some way we can serve. The Bible also says that he who is faithful in little will also be faithful in much. If you're not serving up to your potential, I want to challenge you to start now. Many of you know that I come from what is considered to be a very large family. I'm the second oldest of 7 kids, which 5 of them are girls and 2 of them are boys. So you can imagine that our house is pretty much nuts. But what good is it if I serve the starving kids in Guatemala and then go home and treat my younger siblings horribly? I know that everyone here is guilty of taking someone around them for granted, but you can't really serve on a large scale until you learn how to serve in your school and at your home. The person who is willing to go the extra mile is the one that really serves. I want to share an example of someone who serves his school unselfishly. Joey Montgomery was my campaign manager last year, and I don't know anyone our age that serves his school with as much passion as he does. Joey loves sports, and he could have been a really, really great athlete, but Joey has chosen to serve our small, and I mean small, Catholic school by serving as our mascot. Joey is our cardinal bird, and he gives his all to make every basketball game, pep session, and interaction with an elementary student fun. Does he get the glory or the attention that he would get if he were the star athlete? Probably not. But he is willing to sacrifice that to serve our school in an area where it is needed. Now, for those of you that know me and know me well, you know that a big influence in my life is the Christian athletic camp that I've been attending every summer for the last 12 years. Kanakuk Camps has helped me realize what being a servant is all about. The philosophy that my camp is based on is the I'm third principle, which means God first, others second, and I'm third. This means that you strive each day to put God first and set others' needs ahead of your own selfish desires. While it is an ideal that I fall short of many a time, it is my goal to become more I'm third each day. One of the things you get from camp is this little I'm third card, and I have one on my mirror, in my locker, and my sister even has hers at Purdue. And if you've ever been to camp, you know that this card is a very, very special thing. There's a story I would like to share about a man who epitomizes this kind of selfless service. His name was Johnny Ferrier, and he was a camper when he was young, around the 1940s, 1950s. Anyhow, this young man went on to become a pilot and serve his country. After serving in the Air Force, he began flying in air shows. On a hot day outside Dayton, Ohio in the 1960s, Johnny was flying in the air show. His team had just finished another flawless show, and we're about to do the grand finale. Now this finale is called the Fleur-de-Lis, and it's when all four planes come across the crowd, and at a given point, all four of them will shoot straight up into the air. The two in the middle will go straight up into the air as high as they can go. And at about 2,000 to 3,000 feet, the two planes on the end will start to fan out like this, making an amazing flower in the sky. Everything was fine until the commanding officer got a mayday from one of his planes. It was Johnny's plane. He was out of control and headed for a nearby suburb of Dayton, Ohio. He ordered Johnny to eject, but Johnny said, "I'm sorry, I can't let the plane hit those houses." Again and again, the commander ordered him to eject and save himself. The only answer he got was a few puffs of smoke from Johnny's plane, which said, "I heard you, but I can't follow those orders." He was headed for this little suburb, kind of like a subdivision. But it wasn't like subdivisions today where there's lots of yard space. All the houses were really close together. So if he hit one, he would probably destroy a lot. He found one house with a garden in the back, just enough for him to make a runway. Johnny put the plane just over the house and into the garden. The woman and her grandson in the house at the time had a few scratches but were alive. Johnny wasn't so lucky. After the incident, his wife was cleaning out his locker at the base and found something. It was Johnny's I'm third card that he kept in his wallet. He lived out the I'm third lifestyle until his death so that others could live. Now, I leave you with this. As many of you now look toward the future and think about college majors and what you're going to do with your life, I want to challenge both you and myself to work hard to be the best at whatever path we choose. I also challenge you to choose your talents and to serve others for the rest of your lives. As Mahatma Gandhi said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce a very special person. I haven't known him for very long, but so far all I've seen from him is passion about Beta. This is a very talented friend of mine, and he's the example for all you Betas to follow. I am proud to introduce the Tennessee and National Vice President, Jarrett.